Hi, this is Sandra from Source Outreach Ministries. Welcome today to another study of overcoming the flesh. Today we're going to be looking at hate, lesson 11. Hate. And that is a strong word, right? When you're first time you ever said hate in your life when you're a little kid, when you behind your breath you said, "I hate you." Or when you're mad at your mother, you go, "I hate you." And we're not really understanding what we're even saying. But it's a powerful word. When we get angry, we say the word hate. Okay, so let's go a little deeper here. What is hate? The definition of hate in the Bible. Hate derives from a strong dislike or ill will toward a person or things. As an emotional attitude, a person may oppose, detest, or despise contact with a thing or a person. Love and hatred often stand opposed. Wisdom says there is a time to love and a time to hate. And that's in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 8. It says that. And then it says, in the biblical record, every being may express or experience hate. And you will not go through life but not ever saying, "I hate you," or feeling hate towards something, somebody, or a group of people. It's just the way it is. We have to learn how to control that word hate and the impulse that it puts on us and the feeling and emotion that it puts on us, because it can go and then manifest into other things. Okay. Through my research, I was really kind of shocked because, we really just don't ever think about what's going on in our own backyard. Okay. Sometimes it's just like floors us when we see these things. But in this particular one, these are the 10 studies of hate institutions in our backyard in our United States. Okay, we have the Jewish Defense League. We have the Kingdom Identity Ministries. Look at that, a snake with a head on it. A seed line, interesting. A seed line, a hate of, like a seed line is like a family line, right? Of hatred that we pass on from generation to generation. And here it has even a Star of David. So not sure what that's all about. I have to go further into the studies of all these things, but it just floored me of all the different things that are out there right now. Also the Moorish sovereign citizens, the one, a voice of men, vocal rights, feelings of men. Mainly, I think this is of white men. And Adam-Wafton Division. Look at this, these guys. Wow, scary, huh? The Act of America. We also have a new Black Panther Party. The Institute of American History. The League of the South, the Dixie people, right? The South, what they feel, the Confederates, the things that were passed on to them from generation to generation through their ancestries. And then we have Antifa. This is something new that in the last, couple of years has, we have noticed, and now they have a name for themselves, the Antifas. And they go around causing havoc, right? Hate, 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 hate. So what does the Bible say about hate? Biblically speaking, there are positive and negative aspects of hatred. It is acceptable to hate those things that God hates. Indeed, this is a very much a proof of a right standing with God, that those who love the Lord hate evil. Psalms 97, verse 10. Indeed, the closer our walk with the Lord and the more we fellowship with him, the more conscious we will be of sin, both within and without. Do we not grieve and burn with anger when God's name is maligned? When we see spiritual hypocrisy? When we see blatant unbelief and godless behavior? The more we understand God's attributes and love his character, the more we will be like him, and the more we will hate those things that are contrary to his word and nature. And that is true. However, the hatred that is negative surely has to be that which is directed against others. The Lord mentions hatred in the Sermon on the Mount. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment. In Matthew 5:22. The Lord commands that not only should we be reconciled with our brother before we go before the Lord, but also that we do it quickly. Matthew 5, verse 23 to 26. The act of murder itself was certainly condemned, but hatred is a heart sin. And any hatred, thought, or act is an act of murder in God's eyes, for which justice will be demanded. Possibly not in this life, but at the judgment. So heinous is the position of hate before God that a man who hates is said to be walking in darkness as opposed to the light. 1 John 2, verse 9 and 11. The worst situation is that of a man who continues professing religion but remains at enmity with his brother. The scriptures declare that such a person is a liar. So on top of hate and anger, now you're a liar. 1 John 4:20. And he may fool men, but not God. How many believers live for lives pretending that all is well, putting on a front, only to be found finally wanting because they have harbored enmity, hatred against a fellow believer. That's true. Hatred is a poison that destroys us from within, producing bitterness that eats away at our hearts and minds. This is why the scriptures tell us not to let a root of bitterness spring up in our hearts. Hebrews 12:15. Hatred also destroys the personal witness of a Christian because it removes him from fellowship with the Lord and other believers. Let us be careful to do as the Lord advised and keep short accounts with everyone about being everything, no matter how small. And the Lord will be faithful to forgive as he has promised. In 1 John chapter 1, verse 9, chapter 2, verse 1. So that's telling us right there, we need to get our act together and work on not hating, forgiving, loving instead. Through my other research, I was just really shocking in America to look at the states of hate that rank the highest per capita, per hate groups, per 1 million residents. Arkansas is the highest. Alaska and Hawaii have 0. And I live in California, so California has 1.74 to 1 million residents. But if you look here, it's so interesting, mainly some of the southern states like Mississippi, Tennessee, those are included, Alabama, Louisiana, South Carolina. So a lot of this stuff is ancestral, right? The hate because of prejudices, of racism, those kind of things, that people that hate color, different colors, they think they're superior, okay? You look down more in the other states, you find there's less. But in the some of the southern states and the eastern states, it's very interesting, okay? Then you look in social media. We have speech, hate speech, the social media. People hate this, they hate that, they're never happy. Sexism, trolling around, okay, and doxing. They're trying all the time through social media to stir people up, to get them to hate, get them to be on their side, to make them feel that what they're hearing is right, when most likely it's not, okay? This is just this subject was really, really hard for me to digest, some of the stuff that I found. Okay, here's a short film that you should watch. I hope you stay on this video long enough to watch this, because it shows you what happens when hate through racism is stirred up amongst people. This is a very, very bad outcome that is derived from it. Watch it.
In my life, I have played many roles, playing that game but not having any control. A wise man once said to me, live your life on the road, then you eventually pay for that toll. With drama comes karma. We do this for an easier life, but we only make things harder. And faster you dig your own grave, shuffling your cards expecting to end up with the king or an ace. And that's when you have that moment, when you're hoping it's all a dream, but it's a scene you can't edit or replace. I'll forever be haunted by the look on his face. Mumsy's finally had enough. She wanted me to change. But how can I, when the pain still remains the same? Just as I thought it couldn't get any worse, that's when I met her, Sarah. The girl who changed my perception, changed my prescription, who showed me life through a different lens. She said that life is a journey, just appreciate the walk with your loved ones and your friends. She showed me new paths, gave me new laughs, walked me new ways, brought me back to my faith, taught me about my religion, the value of laying my head to the mat 5 times a day, to better myself as a man in each and every way. My luck started to change, and so did I. The way I used to be was a man that I left behind. But my old life kept calling. Brethrens with ways that I'd forgotten wanted me back, but I was done, and that's what I told them. I could run the wrong way or walk down the path that I'd chosen. I didn't mind settling down because I think I'd finally found the one. I wanted to be a man, one my mum can be proud to call her son. But there's 2 sides to every coin, 2 sides to every story. Division is caused by a failed system. The most dangerous person in this world is he who speaks but never listens. James's mind was sharp, but he was ruled by what he'd seen and heard on the television, fueled by lies, hate, and contradictions. When your voice is not heard, you react by speaking louder. And when you don't think for yourself, you just act how the crowd does. When you begin spiraling down that dark hole, and that's when you begin to feel it. Hate. And hate can change a man, disrupt your common sense, and rearrange your game plan. Celebrating our marriage with my closest friends and my dear mother. Ran out of milk, she said she wanted to get some more. Always thinking about others, but I should never have let her go. It was the same old story. What we didn't matter. Bet you would have found him if our skin wasn't darker. Her attack was racially and religiously motivated. With all the bad press about Muslims being so exaggerated, how could it not have been anticipated? Hate attacks are on the rise, facts not lies, and racism is growing in size. I just sat next to her bed waiting for her to wake. My mum had faith, but all I felt was hatred. Eyes tired, spirit deflated. distanced myself from God and I started to pray less. Felt like he asked me to clean up my life, then dumped us in this mess. Then one day, she finally awakened. Sarah, no longer the girl I once knew. Her reaction broke my heart. Started to hang around with the wrong people, but eventually started to create the same emotion as my enemy and the same level of hate. Seems like fighting fire with fire is what it would take. James was also ready to make a move, do something he felt other people didn't have the guts to do, possessed with an idea that he wished to turn true. The only thing on my mind was getting justice and revenge, and I ignored the call of the Adhan. Felt the weight of the gun in my palm. The message had been received. I found out who he was, what he does, where he lives, what he's done, what he's on, where he's from, where he's been, and where he's gone. And now I wanted to send him back to where he belonged. James was also ready to send a message to the world of how he felt. He was planning to kill Muslims on that very same night, turn up to a mosque and set it alight. You see, the funny thing about hate, he never tried to find out where it started in the first place. Crowds of angry men, police shields and sirens. While some of us had bedtime stories in silence, some of us were born in violence. Anger and hate was a part of their day-to-day, and it only grows in their heart as they watch the fire blaze. Grown men stuck in their ignorant ways. This is what he grew up around. I rolled up on him ready to make my decision, and I waited, emotions inflated. Man slammed open the door on the driver's side and stepped out of the whip and we locked eyes. I could feel the anger building up inside, the ignorance, the lies. Drew for his gun, must have seen the intent on my face, so I pulled the strap from my waist, face off, showdown, each ready to attack. Pointed it and cocked back, squeezed the trigger and then everything went black. And once again, I was staring death in the face. But the pain he has caused, his death couldn't replace. I tasted victory, but the bitterness left an aftertaste. Regret and guilt, as now we shared the same fate. But imagine if I didn't let my anger get the best of me. When you do the right thing, the story will be clear. And you'll begin to understand that hope is like a frisbee. It can come back after it's been thrown. Sometimes you have to let fate find its own way of catching the villain. Because one day they can be just chilling, but eventually those bad deeds will catch up to them. The police were given intel about James's plans. They moved in force with SWAT teams and vans. Yeah, I can see the headlines now. Mentally unwell, Lone Ranger. Maybe so, and maybe he needs a therapist. But he should be labeled as what he is. And that is a terrorist. What I'd realize, and what I have seen, is a strong, independent woman who isn't ashamed of a deen, isn't derailed or deterred after where she had been. Familiar faces who are so different in many ways remind us that we are all human And the biggest role humanity can play is to encourage hope, to tighten a community, to bridge the gap and to strengthen our unity. All you need is that one person who makes you believe. But I'm sorry. Sorry to my family and my friends who believed. Sorry to my mentors whose lessons I didn't heed. The parents who tried to teach. The elders who tried to preach. And sorry to Sarah. Because I acted the same way as the person who hated everything about me.
Okay, see what happens? What hate does? It makes bad things happen, sometimes death, sometimes murder. So I hope that you got this message really clear and deep in your heart, so that you will no longer think about this hate in your life, but make a new start. Oh, I'm making a little rhyme here. Okay, got me going. All right. Psalms 97, verse 10. You who love the Lord hate evil. He protects the lives of his godly people and rescues them from the power of the wicked. Okay. In Leviticus 19, verse 17 and 18. You must not hate your brother in your heart. You must surely reprove your fellow citizen so that you do not incur sin on account of him. Oh, another rhyme. Okay. You must not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the children of your people, but you must love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. So these are words for us to live by. We need to control our hate. We need to control what we feel about people. We need to know that we are the same. We all bleed. We all die. And we need to not let our family push their beliefs on us. We need to find our own destiny in our own ways, because that is a curse. That is an ancestral curse that can go on forever. And our parents that had a brutal experience, that they pushed it on their children. I had a situation where my father, he was prejudiced. My father didn't like blacks because he was attacked by blacks at his job. But that did not affect me. I did not allow that, because that did not happen to me. I treat all people with respect. I look at people on how they treat me, no matter what their color is, their religion, whatever. If they treat me right, I treat them right. If they don't treat me right, I just get them out of my life. Okay, that's the way we need to look at stuff. Being prejudiced because of color, religion is wrong. We cannot live what our parents have lived. And if things like that happen to us, we need to realize that that is not the whole race of people. If one person beats you up or one person says something bad to you, it's not the whole race that you should condemn. You need to handle it. You need to handle it the right way. And you need to forgive. And if that person is not a good person, you need to cut them out of your life. But don't condemn all for one. Okay? Racism is really it's a deep subject, and we're not going to go really deep into today. I just want to show you the outcome of hate. And one of the greatest things that hate causes is division among people. And racism is one of the top candidates in our country that we need to work on. And we need to realize that we must love each other. We must do what's right. And so I hope that this touched your hearts today and opened your mind, that you cannot live the past of your parents and grandparents. You must find your own destiny and not carry on something that is not yours to carry on. You must find your own fate and live by your own morals. And most of all, give your life to Jesus, folks, because God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit will teach you how to love, because this is a really hard life. It is an evil life. Satan wants to kill, steal, and destroy everything from us. And that's how he does it, through division, for us hating each other. It's just a way that he can control us. He knows then he can take us with him when the end comes, because we have done something that is not acceptable in God's eyes. We cannot hate anyone. We need to forgive. Otherwise, we're going to be judged for that. So I just hope today that your hearts were touched by this small lesson today on hate. And I hope that you will decide to give your life to Jesus. And if you will do that, you can go check out our second lesson. Well, really, it's our first lesson, salvation. And if you want to give your life to Jesus, you can also go to our website, sourceoutreachministries.com, and pray the sinner's prayer. You can start studying the Bible daily, because we have a daily reading plan on there. We have so many tools for you that will make you successful in your walk with Jesus. So don't let hate take away everything from you, okay? May God bless you, make his face shine upon you, and give you peace. I thank you for watching the series lesson today, Overcoming Hate. This is a really hard one and a deep one to listen to feel in your heart, because you got to get your heart right. You really do, people. Because without getting your heart right, there is no hope for our human race. It really is not. Because all we're going to do is just keep hurting each other and destroying each other instead of helping each other. So thank you for watching today, the Overcoming the Flesh series, the hatred lesson. Come back next week for our next lesson. God bless.